Hey, it's CarlyRae here, and welcome to my Hey, it's CarlyRae book club on YouTube. We are back this week, and we will be talking about historical fiction on my channel today. As you guys know, on my June TBR, I had 3 amazing historical fictions on my list, and that is what we're going to talk about today. So let's head to the bookshelf. These are the 3 amazing historical fiction novels that I featured on my TBR, and this is what we're going to be talking about today. I've had so many requests on all of my Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook about you guys messaging me about historical fiction. I just got into this genre, and I am loving historical fiction, and today we're going to talk about these books. If you guys have never read historical fiction, why you guys should dive into this genre, and if you guys do read historical fiction, why you guys need to pick up your copy of one of these amazing books. So, which book are we going to talk about first? Well, eeny, meeny, miny, mo. We are going to talk about Girl in the Blue Coat by Monica Hesse. Alright, so if you guys have read this book, grab your copy, jump in front of this YouTube channel, and let's talk about this book. If you guys have never read it, don't worry, there will be no spoilers in this video, and we are going to talk about what this book is about without giving anything away. Okay, so historical fiction, that covers a lot of time frames in history. This book takes place in World War II in Amsterdam, and it centers around Hanneke. I'm not exactly sure how you pronounce her name, but that's how I'm going to pronounce it. If you guys know the correct way to say it, or if that is the correct way, that is how I'm saying it today. So this book centers around Hanneke, and she basically lost her boyfriend, her future husband, in the horrible World War II. Now, she lives in Amsterdam, and she is not Jewish, but her way of kind of getting back at the war and kind of, like celebrating, or not necessarily celebrating, but getting back at what happened to Boss, which was her future husband. She sells goods on the black market to people around the city. So this book kind of takes us through her journey of that, and then this plot really picks up when Mrs. Jansen, she is one of the people who buys black market goods from her, which is basically lipstick or things that nobody could get really during that time. Hanneke is the one who goes and gets it for them. But Mrs. Jansen has a special request. She has been harboring a Jewish girl in her house, and the girl went missing and she can't find her. So they are pressed against time in this book to find the girl in the blue coat. That was what she was last seen wearing. Now the question is, if you guys have not read this novel, will she find this girl? Does this girl exist? Does the girl end up getting taken to a concentration camp? You guys will have to read this book and find out. What I really enjoyed about this book is a love story wasn't the main plot. I know a lot of historical fictions is centered around love stories, but this book kind of takes it to a whole other level. It's kind of like the backstory. We get to really feel how Hanneke is hurting during this time from losing her beloved boyfriend who she planned a whole entire future with, who died. And we get to see his brother come back into the book. His name's Ollie, and I really loved his character as well. He comes back and kind of brings Hanneke through a whole other journey during this time. I really enjoyed this novel because you get to not only feel, it's like a different perspective, I guess, during that time. Like, she's not Jewish, but you get to see the perspective other people had during that time of helping Jewish people and what other people went through. So I definitely recommend checking out this book. Now, the second historical fiction on my TBR list this month was, that we will be talking about, Spitfire Girls. This book is by Soraya M. Lane. Now, the reason why I really enjoyed this book is it is about fly girls. Yes, I love books that have women figures in historical fiction. This book also takes place during World War II. And it centers around Lizzie. She's an American, and she really wants to fly planes during World War II. Now, as you guys know, women were not allowed to fight in the army or anything back then, but she wanted to start her own squadron where women could fly planes. Now, in this book, during that time, the British, everybody in Europe was fighting World War II, but America had yet to enter the war. So what they did is Lizzie basically goes overseas to Britain, and she flies planes in the British Air Transport. And that is where she meets May and Ruby. They are British girls, and Lizzie is this like exuberant American, and she doesn't really get their humor. So you get to see different dynamics in that aspect of Spitfire girls. All the girls are amazing pilots. You get to see their journey and how they end up taking planes to the men during that time to different bases. You also get to see the times when Lizzie, if she does get her own squadron, if she doesn't get her own squadron, how that comes over to America and how women were able to put a stand up during World War II. So this book really was amazing in that aspect. I will say there was some grammatical mistakes in this book, like a couple words were missing. So that is something in this book that was the only flaw that I actually found. However, the plot and the story of this book really made up for the grammatical mistakes. So I will say, I know some of you guys are like, oh my gosh, I hate books that are like that, but I will say the book and the overall story kind of lets you oversee or kind of get past that. So I definitely recommend checking out this book. I would not say do not let that hinder you in picking up this amazing historical fiction book. So that is the journey. There is a love story in this. May has a love interest, so does Ruby, and so does Lizzie. However, all of their love stories are different. Now, I'm not going to give anything away. I will say that with their love stories being different, you get to see different aspects of the war and how the women had to stay strong for either the men they were with or the future ones that they will be with. So I'm not going to give anything away on the plot. You guys will have to read the book and find out if they do end up with anyone, and if they don't, why they don't. You guys will have to check out this book and let me know what you think. Alright, so the third book that we will be talking about today that was on my June TBR list is They Went Left, another book by Monica Hesse. Alright, when I got this book, I was not aware that it was by Monica Hesse, but I was actually really glad that it was. This book is totally different from Girl in the Blue Coat. This book is actually right after World War II ends. It centers around Sophia Letterman, and she was in the concentration camps. She endured a huge hardship during this time, and this is kind of basically about her recovery, and it actually has a mystery in it. She is looking for her younger brother, Abek, throughout the entire book. So we get to see flashbacks. She went through a really hard time, so you get to see how it all affected her mentally, physically, how she was able to get out of the concentration camps, and it takes her, Sophia, on a journey. She actually ends up in a displaced persons camp, which I was not aware of that they had over there after World War II until I read this book. We get to find out if she actually does find her brother. We actually get to, sit back in Sophia's eyes, and we get to feel the war, her recovering from it. So I actually really enjoyed this book. It was a different perspective, and I really, really enjoyed how the story unfolded. She meets Joseph during this time, who is actually harboring his own secrets, and Sophia has to decide for herself if she can get over someone who basically hides a whole other life from her. You guys will have to check out this book. Let me know what you guys think of it. If you guys do have your copy, comment below, tell me what you guys thought of this book. I actually really enjoyed it. I will be doing a giveaway on my Instagram of this book, so you guys will have to stay tuned. You guys can follow me, HeyitsCarlyRae on Instagram, and you guys can enter to win this book for free. Yes, I got an extra copy, so I'm going to give it to one lucky watcher or somebody that follows me on Instagram, so you guys will have to stay tuned for that. Alright, so these are the historical fiction books that I featured on my TBR list for June, and that is like a quick overview of all of these books. I thoroughly enjoyed them, and I definitely recommend checking them out. Now, as you guys know, I do a Q&A, and I asked the other day questions that you guys had about the historical fiction books that I featured on my June TBR list, and of course, I got so many write-ins this month. A lot of you guys were curious about historical fiction, and you guys wanted to know basically what I thought of historical fiction and everything like that. So I'm going to be answering all of you guys' questions today. Now, I won't be answering all of them, actually. I messaged a ton of you guys back, but I picked out some questions that we will be talking about on my YouTube channel. So, the first one is Bobby from Twitter. You said, I've never read historical fiction. Which book do you recommend reading first? Which book do I recommend reading first? I recommend reading Girl in the Blue Coat by Monica Hesse first, just because that was a quick read for me, and if you haven't gotten into historical fiction, I really enjoyed that book because it gives you a different perspective of it, and I really enjoyed it personally too because a love story isn't the main storyline of this book. You get to actually really feel the characters develop through this book. You get to really feel the hardships they went through during this time, and I really enjoyed it, and it was a fast read, so I definitely recommend reading Girl in the Blue Coat. That was the one that surprised me the most and that I thoroughly enjoyed, so you should check that out, Bobby. Next up is Charlotte from Instagram. Hey Charlotte, you said, are these books historically accurate? I'm not like a huge history buff, I guess, on some of the issues. I would say they are pretty close to accurate. I will say Monica Hesse, I read in her historical notes, she actually went over and traveled to all the different concentration camps over there, which I found really, really, really amazing and inspirational. That's how she got a lot of her information. So, I mean, I'm not like a huge, like I said, a history buff, but I will say to me, they're really accurate of the stuff during that time. So I would definitely say they are, and I would check them out. Next up is Ava from Twitter. You said, why do you like historical novels? Okay, well, historical novels, I kind of put off the genre for a long time because I wasn't sure if I was going to like them. But I will say I thoroughly enjoyed historical fiction novels. The genre is amazing. Not only does it take you back in time, but you get to actually feel what everybody was feeling during that time. So that's why I love historical fiction. You get to go back to history and you get to relive what people experienced during that time. So that's why I really enjoy historical fiction. If you guys haven't read an historical fiction book, I definitely recommend checking it out. It will change your whole view of the history and everything people went through during those times. Next up is Carl from Facebook. Hey Carl! You said, is Spitfire Girls like all the other World War II flying novels? I don't think it's so. The Spitfire Girls actually was different than other ones because you get the American Lizzie who actually goes over to Britain and learns how to fly in a squadron, which she's never really done before. So that was why I found it different. You get to kind of get a different feeling, different part of the history. Other flying women's books that I have read take place all in America, and you don't actually get to see all the different perspectives. So that's why Spitfire Girls is different, and that's why I would recommend reading it. Even if you have read a lot of World War II women's flying books, this one is different, and the characters were super dynamic. The dialogue was great in it. So yes, I would definitely recommend checking that out. Sasha from Instagram, you said 2 are written by the same authors. Yes, I know. Are they different? Yes, they are. Now, at first, I will say They Went Left I put off after reading Girl in the Blue Coat because I was like, oh my gosh, she's not going to be able to write another amazing book like that, or the plot's going to be exactly the same, and I couldn't believe I got 2 of the same books by 2 of the same author. However, I will say the books are totally different. Monica did an excellent job in switching up the plots. You get to see different points of view. You actually you're in different time frames too, and they take place totally different. So I will say they are exceptionally great, nothing alike. Even if you got one, read the second one. They are amazing. And then next up is Danielle from Facebook. You said, which book do you recommend reading first? I definitely probably would recommend reading the Monica Hesse Girl in the Blue Coat first, just because it was super easy to get through and you get a whole different perspective of everything during that time. So I would recommend reading Girl in the Blue Coat first. Now again, these are my historical fiction picks. Girl in the Blue Coat by Monica Hesse. You get The Spitfire Girls by Soraya and Lane, and then you get They Went Left by Monica Hesse. Again, I'm doing a giveaway on this, so follow me on Instagram. Hey, it's Carly Rae, if you guys don't already. Now, I would love for you guys to comment below, subscribe, hit the button to get alerts when I publish my new videos. You guys can also follow me on Instagram. Hey, it's Carly Rae. You guys can also follow me on Twitter. Hey, it's carlyrae1. You guys can also follow me on Facebook. Hey, it's Carly Rae, and join my Facebook group for Hey, it's Carly Rae Book Club. You guys can also follow me on Pinterest. Hey, it's Carly Rae. And then you guys can also subscribe to my YouTube channel. So that is today's video. We are concluded. I really hope you guys enjoyed this novel, and I hope that you guys tune in because next week I will be posting an all-new video. So that is everything today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Be sure to comment below and tell me which historical fiction book you guys are reading. Have an amazing day!